think so. I think that could be an endpoint. I think like employee health plans would be another interesting place where they might provide these offerings to their employees and then provide some sort of discounts or rewards or something like that for their insurance premiums if they follow guidance based on these sorts of tests. I think that might be another place that these sorts of dietary things end up. I've heard that there's at least some interest from these kind of employer-driven health plans to do this sort of thing. So that might be another outlet.
Excellent. Okay. And then you mentioned that there are a bunch of these coming up in India and China. Do you think the data generated from those populations would be applicable directly onto the U.S., or is there enough genetic variation that you would want to have a U.S.-based data set rather than one from China or somewhere else?
They are applicable. So basically, it works like this: like a test that's designed for people of European ancestry, white people basically, will work pretty well in Hispanic and Asian individuals, and vice versa. Also, a test that's developed for Asian individuals will work relatively well in European individuals. It's mostly people of African ancestry, really, that their genetics are pretty divergent from European individuals, for example. So a test made for African individuals is going to not work very well for European individuals and vice versa. But for Asians and Europeans, I think there's, the accuracy is reduced when you go from one population to the next, but it is the information still applies.
Okay. So really the market isn't just, you're only just thinking about the U.S., you're thinking that a company that established itself in China, say under a different regulatory system, could actually come in and be able to sell their insight in the U.S. And advantage.
Yeah, I think so. Whether they would do it or not, I don't know. The other thing is, there's, at least in Europe, there's a bunch of countries that are just doing this, as a countrywide effort, coming up with specific, especially like the Scandinavian countries and Estonia and Iceland. They're all kind of, they have the benefit of having like centralized electronic health information in general, and they're all developing their own kind of polygenic risk prediction approaches that are customized to that population and deployed to their population. And I don't think they would deploy those to, maybe they do a spin-out company or something like that, but I don't think they would apply those to the United States.
So you couldn't just take the algorithm and apply it onto the U.S. You'd also, so that'd be different. Also, we've just got a kind of a bigger diversity in terms of like origin, so that's going to change things as well.
That's right.
Excellent.
The more accurate the test becomes for those other countries, the less generalizable it becomes also, right? So like you can if you're in Finland and you have a big Finnish biobank, you can develop a much more accurate genetic test for that country, but it'll be less generalizable to even other European countries, no less the United States. You could come up with like different strategies where you have a more generalized test and then a very specific test for your population.
Excellent. So we're at the top of the hour, and the most important question is the one I always ask classes: what else should I have asked you that I didn't?
I don't know. That was a good series of questions. I mean, the one that I just mentioned now, in terms of the competition from national efforts, I think is one that you should definitely keep an eye on. There's UK biobank, Chinese biobank, there's a Finnish biobank, an Estonian biobank. I'm sure there's a lot of other ones. I think these are going to end up being kind of more like public health initiatives that will end up competing with these companies.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
I think that's the main missing thing.
Okay. Ali, we're going to have to cut off here because we're out of time, but it's been a real pleasure, and thank you very much for all the insight you've been able to provide.
My pleasure. Hope it was helpful.
It definitely was. So thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.